Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you ride?
I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've been up in Wisconsin the last probably 3 years. I ride a Triumph TF 250X, and then I occasionally play on the 450s when time allows. And I'm just a kid that likes to ride dirt bikes and make people happy.
When uh, when did you first fall in love with motocross?
Right away, right away. So I've been riding since I was 2. So I've been doing it just about just about 22 years now. So it's been a little bit. We've been doing it for a while. So
What uh what do you remember was your first moment where you realized you wanted to chase this dream and compete on the pro level?
I never really had a certain moment that I was like, I'm gonna go chase it. It was just what's next. It was who can I beat that's faster than me, and it escalated to where we're at now,
Which is where we're at.
which was we're chasing down pro points and making main events and putting people to shame.
Was there anyone early on who believed in you and pushed you before you started showing out at the regional and local levels?
My dad. My dad was a big push in that, and it was never we're gonna make it to the top and we're gonna do it, but it was always just do the best that you can and try your hardest no matter what happens.
What So we're obviously privateers, and we're obviously, we're not backed by the big guys, but we have a lot of help from the big guys. Obviously, Triumph's our biggest supporter. So what's your day look like? So what we do differently and what we do differently. So just go through a typical Tuesday here. Like what's your focus and what do you do? And then we're going to touch on afterwards, like what happens after we get out of work. So go through your typical day.
A typical day it starts about 8 o'clock when we get into the shop, and it's all hands on deck for the first probably 3 hours. Just depends if we got to ride the night before or not. So usually we'll come in, wash bikes, go through them, check them, make sure they're good to go, and then do a little bit of service work to end out the day and keep the shop going.
Well, when you get off work, what's your training regiments look like typically?
Usually when I get off work, we go home, hop on the stationary pedal bike for an hour and a half. I pedal till I can't, and then usually eat chicken and rice for dinner and go to bed.
How does wrenching and riding go hand in hand here?
I would say the wrenching aspect of the wrenching and the riding aspect, they go together because I get to ride them, and then when there's something that's wrong, I'm able to work on them all day long, so I know where to go and how to fix it and how to make quick adjustments on the fly.
What's the we travel. Obviously, we have to go to these places and do these events.
Yep.
So, from what you were doing before Werks Triumph Racing came around, your traveling situations changed a lot.
Yep.
What's been the biggest difference in the traveling situation?
Not driving.
Okay.
Sitting there and just enjoying the drive over and having somebody else chauffeur us around and take care of us on that aspect of it.
So you came to me when we found each other. You were, you didn't have a pot to piss in. You had a couple $100 in the bank, and then
Yep.
obviously a lot's changed. Getting this quote unquote factory ride. So what all sacrifices have you made to afford the lifestyle before, and then the lifestyle now that you have?
I mean, it's the same. I still live the same as I did when I didn't have a pot to piss in, and I was sitting there trying to scramble enough money for the next month's rent. I mean, everything I have goes to dirt bike. So if I can cut corners and not have to buy the expensive nice cars or pay for the premium gas and whatever it is, I mean, I just anywhere and everywhere that I can save $1, I try so I can put it back into going racing.
So factory riders, and we're kind of in this weird category because this is a factory ride, but it's a dealership factory ride. It's not a OEM factory ride.
Yep.
So they have a lot of things they can people take for granted. And what's something that that you think the factory riders take for granted that we still fight for every day?
Riding every day.
Biggest one.
I think riding every day. I mean, I have to go to work, so I don't get to spend my 9 to 5 at the gym or doing everything during the day to make it happen. I think just riding every day and having that freedom to work out when you want and live on your own schedule.
which is something we're working towards.
Trying
So
to.
we're working towards
Yep.
that. So I know from an instance where last year you broke your leg at Millville, and then this year Millville was your first time back at it. You know, when was your time where you were going to hang it up, be done, quit chasing a dream? When did that happen, and what re-sparked it to not happen? Obviously, a major leg break like that last year was something that was pretty rough. You know, how do you come back from breaking a leg and then, you know, coming back at it like you did?
I mean, I was ready to be done after Millville. I mean, it was just you sitting on the couch for 9 months doing nothing, not collecting a paycheck, and it's just like, okay, well, time to get a real job and do something that you can support yourself with. And then all this happened, and the people that I talked to in Werks Power Sports, they wanted to help, and they made this. They relit the fire and the aspect that we can go do it again, and let's give it another legitimate shot and see what comes of it.
What was that conversation like with us when you know, how did it go from, I mean, first met you, you were literally on crutches in a boot. So what changed from the moment that you were on crutches in a boot to, I'm going to go stab this again and go as hard as I can? What was the determining factor that changed that for you?
The people that I talked to that believed in me, that saw and knew that I could do it, and I figured if they believe I can do it, then why can't I? And we should be able to go do it again.
I love it. What's your biggest fear? What's your biggest, with doing this? And obviously we know how serious this business is, and you know, people do die, people break, people get hurt. What is your biggest fear with riding at the professional level?
Not living up to expectations. You get hurt, it's part of it. I mean, it happens. It's not if, it's when. But living up to the expectations and the standards that I've set and that people have set around me, I think that's a big one.
What's your biggest motivation? What drives you? What makes you come to work every day, wrench for 10 hours, ride for another 5 hours, go home, pedal for another 2 hours, eat right, do all this? Why are you doing this? What makes you do this?
It's all I know. It's all I love. It's all I want to do.
When you're not racing, you know, you're not just racing the field, you know, you're racing everything. You're racing the politics, the budgets, the odds, you know, you're racing, you know, we're racing time. We're trying to get ready for an event that's a state event, then we're going to a national event, then we're doing a regional event. How do you continue to stay competitive in that space of being pulled a million different directions?
You just find the fire within, and you figure it out, and you go by the seat of your pants, and whatever works, and wherever you're needed, you suck it up and you do it.
That's a big motto here. You know, people make jokes about, you know, or not make jokes. They talk about having an SOP, you know, standard operating procedure, and we have that as well. And our SOP is seat of pants. That's how we operate, and it's worked well so far. You know, we continue to do that. You know, we go to factory races. You know, we go to nationals. We're running out of, you know, a motor home and a toy hauler, and you know that have full pit crews and $100,000 budgets, and you know, a semi, and you know, next year obviously there's some things that are changing, but this year, how do you mentally stack up to, you know, knowing that? Is it what we're going against the biggest guys in the business, yet we're the smallest guys in the business?
Yep. I mean, I showed up in a cargo van to go race this stuff, so to me it's just another day, another race, and I mean, it's cool to be the underdog and show up in stuff that most people have more than just a cargo van or even a toy hauler to do it out of, and I like the little guy aspect of it.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, like you said before, was you can do this. Anybody can do this. You don't have to be Hayden Deegan to do this at the professional level. You know, you can do this at the professional level and be a privateer. It's something that is feasible and is possible, but you have to pour everything into it to make it a reality. So far, you know, you've been doing this for 22 years. What's been the happiest moment that you've gotten so far? When were you at your highest point, you know, in your career? It can be anything. It could be your first race as a kid, or it could be, anything. What's been the moment where you're like, you were the happiest at this point in your life with motocross?
I'd say after the college boy motos at Loretta's, when you're sitting under the top 10 tent dying, I think that was the highlight for sure.
What was the moment that you felt that nobody saw, like an internal moment? That was something that, like, that's a very external moment. You're in the top 10 tent. That's very external. Everybody can see that. But when was the moment where you had the most inner peace with the situation, where it was, you felt internally the highest point?
When I built that CR250, I had an old tired, bought it in a box, 2004 CR250, and I spent 2.5 years building it. And when that was done, and it no longer decided to grenade on me and actually ran right, I think that was probably the best internal moment for sure.
So what's the dream? Like, not dream's a bad word. What's the call that's going to be the one that's going to mean the most to you? And it very well could be, offering a factory ride or this, that, or the other. We've talked about that before, but what do you want to hear after you compete? What's something that that you want to hear, yet you look forward to? Who's going to be the call? Who's going to be the person saying "attaboy"? What do you want to hear? Like, what's your focus and what's your thought on, like, the best thing that could happen where we're at currently with what we're doing? What's the biggest thing that could, make you the happiest at that point?
Just the recognition from Triumph, I guess, would be the happiest part, right? Because, I mean, our goal is to sell motorcycles, but it's also to go race them and put them on a higher pedestal and show everybody that the bike is good and it's fast. I think that would be the call that I would be like most looking forward to. Like, I don't think a factory team is needed as far as to go do this and make something of it. But it would be cool to see the big guy give the little guy some props every once in a while.
Absolutely. And obviously we have 3 Triumph dealerships. I mean, Triumph is our main focus here at the dealership, and you came off of years of other models, and I think what have you noticed about it with this particular platform and how they do business compared to the Japanese or the Austrians? Like, what have you noticed right away from the factory that's different?
As far as bikes?
As far as bikes and support from the manufacturer?
Everything. I mean, even on the street bike side of it, like, there's bikes that come in with thousands of miles and they don't question a warranty job, or they don't push back on stuff. They're here to make it right, and they want to make the best product that they can. And I think they did a killer job with the dirt bike.
I mean, we've had a lot of people, and there's been a lot of people who've talked about, Triumph, they've had the clutch recalls, and they've continued to, recall that. And we talked about, how other brands would just say, you get the revision next year.
Yep.
But Triumph has continued to, come out and charge the customer nothing to fix these and make them better, consistently make them better.
Yep.
And you've never had an experience with any other OEM manufacturer doing that in that scene. It just doesn't happen.
Yep.
Do you think that Triumph, I mean, obviously their motto is all in, they're all in with dirt. Do you believe that the superiority of Triumph is going to grow exponentially the next 5 years?
I would say so. I mean, they took the best of every bike and put it into one. I mean, they're here to play and here to make the best product they can.
If you were to take one feature out of the TF250 that's superior to all other bikes, what would that feature be?
The handling. Okay. It's stable. It turns when you want it to. It's predictable. It doesn't do anything that you don't want it to.
So obviously, we have a lot of fans. We have a lot of naysayers. We have a lot of people in this industry. It's plus and minus. This weekend at the state race, you had dozens of 10, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids coming up to you, talking to you because you're the one that's quote unquote made it out of the regional circuit. If you were to tell a 12-year-old kid out of, middle of nowhere Indiana, what do you tell that kid if he wants to get to your level?
Keep trying. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. I mean, persistence pays off, and as long as you keep trying and you put your best foot forward, I mean, anything's possible.
What's the most misunderstood thing in this industry about what we're doing as this privateer, factory, non-factory, race, team, organization program? Like, what's something that the average Joe doesn't know or understand about it that you could shed some light on?
They don't think it's feasible. I mean, they don't think that it's something that they can do, but it's very feasible, and it's something that everybody can do if they just put their mind to it and grind it out.
So obviously, everybody talks about upgrades and suspension and this and that. This weekend you rode a practice bike, which is what? Box stock.
Yep.
Bone stock bike this weekend, and competed very well. There was nobody that was even close to you where you were at this weekend. And we use the state races as practice for you. Obviously we do have mod motors and mod bikes, and we build motors for the race bikes and things of that nature. But I think that's something that too is, everybody wants to focus on all the bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, you can do it on a box stock bike.
Yep.
You don't need to spend all this fancy money. When you're competing at a national level, you need to, but when you're competing at the regional and local level, you don't need that. Is that a fair assessment?
I'd say so. I mean, it doesn't need to be something that's crazy modified. I mean, you take a bone stock one and do well with it. I mean, it's all just how bad do you want it and how hard are you willing to try for it and achieve your goal.
At this point in time, we've grown exponentially. We've grown the dirt segment. You're the reason we spearheaded the Q2 dirt competition with Triumph and was the sold more TF 250s than anybody in the entire country. Mm-hmm. We beat out all the big guys, and here we are in the corner, once again, the underdog in a B market, a town of 250,000 people, yet we sold more bikes than anybody in the country. How much does that motivate you with Triumph? You mentioned before about how, make Triumph proud. That's the thing. That is our brand. That's our bread and butter. That brand supports 25 people, 25 households. How does that make you feel, coming in after an injury, moving, and then now racing at a national level under a factory ride, and then also, being the highest rated dealer in the entire country and selling more units than everybody? How does that take your perspective with the brand?
I mean, it's cool. It's definitely cool. I just, they said we couldn't do it, and I'm here to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
We can do it.
I think that's the mentality of Werks Power Sports and Triumph Fort Wayne, Triumph Elkhart, and Triumph Indy is, our mentality has always been, we'll show you. Like, okay, you'll see. We came into Triumph as a very small potential dealer, but we turned out to be one of the biggest dealers in the country, and we've continued to take that initiative with everything that we've done. What is your closing statement? What do you have to add for the people, the fans, Triumph? I mean, obviously this is going to be a social media post that everybody's going to see, and
Yep.
this is going to be kind of a get to know Nick and get to know Werks Triumph Racing and what we're doing. We have some kids that are coming up underneath you right now. We're starting to build the program locally.
Yep.
We got a really good team there, good parents. What's your words for the future?
Tell me I can't, and I'll do it. I mean, just tell me I can't sell more dirt bikes than anybody else. I'll do it. Tell me we're a B market. I'll prove that I can sell out any A market you have. Tell me I can't make a main. I'll make a main. I mean, tell me I can't, and I'll prove you wrong.
And I think that's been the story of this dealership and myself for the last 5 years was say I can't do something, we'll do it. I think that's one thing we click very well with. What are you most excited about for Ironman?
That would be it's a pretty local race for me. I mean, we're only an hour and a half away. So I've gotten to do a couple of bachelor parties there, ride the dirt bikes, ride the track. So I've been around Ironman quite a bit. I've done a couple fly ride days there. I'm just excited to go back and see everybody that I know in Lafayette and ride my dirt bike.
Lafayette, Indy.
Crawfordsville.
Is that closer to Lafayette?
No, it'd be closer to Crawfordsville. Like, it'd be closer to, yeah.
Whatever. Maps.
It's
It's over there. It's closer to Indy than anywhere. I think the biggest thing, the most exciting thing about Indy with Ironman is the fact that we're going to have the entire fan base there. You know, we're going to have everybody who's pulling for us locally. You know, we'll have so many supporters there for you, and I think that's going to be a really cool thing. So,
should be fun.
Should be fun. Well, we're going to be racing at Ironman. Where are you going next week?
We're going to Loretta's.
And what are we going to Loretta's for?
We're going to go do rider support, help everybody down at Loretta's that qualified on Triumphs, and hopefully sell a couple and convert some people over.
And what else are we doing at Loretta's? We have a whole slew of...
We've got all of our road show. We're taking a road show down there, so we'll have grips, hard parts, chemicals, I mean, just about anything you can think of, we'll have it.
The difference where we're doing this is, you know, Triumph reached out and they want Nick to be there at this event, you know, for a number of reasons that are, you know, some are private, some are not private, but the biggest reason is, you know, to have a pro rider to help and guide and, you know, set up these kids who come through that need the actual, you know, quote unquote factory support from Triumph. You know, they send us in an entire skid of inventory just for consumable or for parts for the bikes, and you know, we're there to support, you know, the dealer and show that Triumph cares more about the industry than anybody, because they're doing everything they can in their power to make it, you know, good for everybody. You know, you need to get taken care of, but you know, it's anybody can sell you a set of grips, but to install them correctly is one thing, you know, or get the right set of bars or the right set of pegs. So, well, we got a lot of work to do. It's a busy day. I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me. Obviously, this was narrated by David. I'm the owner of Werks Power Sports and Triumph Fort Wayne and Werks Triumph Racing, and
the belly flop champion.
The belly flop champion of Wildcat Creek. Video may come soon. Nick, I thank you. I'm really looking forward to this season. I think you know, I think we're looking forward to next season as well, and ready to see what we can do. So.
Absolutely.
Do you want to say hi to anybody while you're on here and you have an audience?
I mean, probably my mom.
That's a good one.
My dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, about it.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate your time. Like, comment, share. This is something that's really cool and new to all of us, and we're really looking forward to the future.